Hello and welcome to today's episode of Silk and Soil. For today, we're doing things a slightly bit different. So I'm going to go into a little bit of a story time update and then I guess tell you a little bit more about my own story afterwards as well. So I don't even know how to start this. I'm not going to lie. So, I work with my cycle. With the different seasons within me, I listen to my own rhythm, my own intuition, which gets a lot of slack from a lot of business coaches. Obviously running my business that way for a lot of people, because that's not sort of almost like the norm, and it's almost like frowned upon. So, saying all of this, I've done this more or less my whole life. When I say life, I've not run a business my whole life, but all the times that I've run a business, and this is my third, I guess technically fourth business. I've always listened to that sort of inner voice. Yes, I've struggled with listening to other people and all of that, and that's a whole different story, but there's always been an inner rhythm inside of me, and I've especially the past year, I've really listened or learned to listen to that rhythm, that inner voice, that whatever the wisdom that's trying to come through. So I'm currently in my ovulation, so my inner summer, so really taking action. And when I sat down to record today's podcast, which was meant to be something completely different, I realised actually what has happened, which is why I guess today's little sort of storytime episode is coming from. So a little while ago, I guess 2 weeks ago, within my start of my cycle, my inner winter, when I go inwards and get all of those little downloads, or little or big, whatever, I got the nudge that something within my business wasn't quite working for me. I love what I do, I love serving the women, but something was just missing. And it wasn't until I was on a call with someone last week, and they were just so you want to serve mothers? And I just looked at us, just yes. And I have to laugh now because it is so obvious to me now. Whereas for the last year, I felt there were parts or times when I felt really lost within my business, and that's because I wasn't allowing myself to really, I guess, admit and go where I want to go. So at the beginning of this business, there was a time when I tried to focus on women and mothers in business specifically, because that's what I've been through. But that didn't really feel aligned. And it was only when I had this conversation last week when I was just yes, I wanna work especially with mothers who are in almost the depth of motherhood, and just really feel they don't know who they are, because I know this feeling so well. The amount of times, especially since having my daughter, I felt so lost to myself. If you would have asked me, and I'm not sure if I can actually answer this right now, but it's I guess if you ever wonder if you're almost lost in the motherhood phase, I guess, ask yourself, what are your hobbies? Because I went to very recently, I'm just what's that? I'm a mother. I was even when we met my father-in-law for lunch a week or two. No, I nearly did. A week and a half ago. And he was so what are you doing? He's like, surely you're doing something else, like, you're not just mum. And I'm just like, no, that's my life. And I'm just like, obviously that's not just my life. And don't get me wrong, I love my daughter, I love being a mum. But especially as mothers, I think and certainly for me, I used to put my daughter's and everyone else's needs before mine. And I think having this conversation last week, and I guess also that was triggered by that conversation with my father-in-law, it's just like, yeah, I do want to, like, I love working with mothers, because I get them. I get, like, when I speak, and this is like, when I speak to some business coaches or strategists or whatever, they're maybe in their 20s, 30s, and it's just like, do X, Y, Z, and or like whatever it is, and it's just like, oh, you can buy this, but then the replay you only get for 3 days. And I've had this exact same situation. There was something I really wanted to join, but there was a replay for only three days, and then it was gone, even though it was paid. And I'm just like, with where it was, I was like, I don't have time in those 3 days to watch the replay. I couldn't join live because of the time difference. And yes, there are people who say, yeah, if you want it bad enough, you will make time for it, you will make space for it. Yeah, but do you have a very active 4-year-old daughter, which we suspect has ADHD? Who just runs off the walls? Like, and I know all of our circumstances are different, but I'm just like, by the time she's in bed, I just want to chill. Like, I just want to have like half an hour just to myself, just like to decompress, because I get very much overwhelmed and overstimulated within motherhood. And I think that's something that a lot of us don't necessarily talk about. And there's about a million things that I could go into this at the moment, but essentially, because this is so close to my heart, and it has been so close to my heart for such a long time, like being a mother. I love being a mother, for the most part. But I also like me finding myself within not just being a mother, but also being a woman. And it's not, for me, it's not like about going back to the person that I was before giving birth, because quite frankly, that version is dead. That person is just, I've moved on. Like, I've grown so much, because motherhood grows you in ways you would never imagine. And I guess this is what this is like about, like this, essentially, what I'm trying to say here is that I am pivoting like my business, this podcast, slightly to speak more to mothers who just feel like lost, they just feel alone, they don't feel like they know who they are anymore, they're overwhelmed, overstimulated, and just have lost like the connection with themselves and their bodies. And as I said, it's something that I've been through myself, and probably still going through to a certain degree, because I do believe that we are always discovering more parts of ourselves, like deeper parts, like unlocking layers. And I keep saying it's like peeling back an onion, like all of the different layers. So yes, so if you've been listening to this podcast since the beginning, which is still like, first of all, thank you very much. And second of all, we're still in the very early stages. I don't actually know why I say we. I guess me and the podcast, that's we. It's a co-creation, me and you and everyone. It's very much like we're very much in the early stages, and I am quite glad and happy that I feel like I finally found like the direction I want to take everything in, where I can like be really specific and really help women, because I realized with everything that I've been doing in like pretty much all of my life, or certainly when it comes to my entrepreneurial life, is it's always been about like family, mums, babies. Like even when I was doing my yoga teacher training, I went on to do pre and postnatal yoga training with baby massage as well, baby yoga and baby massage, because I just wanted to like support the whole woman. And it's just a theme that has just kept going. And at the beginning of, I guess, this business, I just didn't have the vision, and I think there was part of me that was just like holding back, because we always think like, do I know enough? Can I actually really help the women? But I know that I can, otherwise I wouldn't be here. And I also know that like working specifically with women and really understanding them, with women, with mothers, and really like understanding them rather than just generally women, it really made my like heart really light up. So this is where I'm going with this podcast. This is going where with absolutely everything that I'm doing, just really like helping mothers like reconnect to themselves, their body, like their inner wisdom, and just finding, I guess, the woman that they are inside, not just mum. And that just is not a bad thing. It doesn't have a negative connotation. It's just, we're not just mum, we are women as well. We have needs, we have feelings, and within motherhood, a lot of that, I feel, gets almost brushed under the carpet. There was part of me that wanted to like go a little bit deeper into other things, but considering I've been talking for like 10 minutes with this little update, I think what I'll do, I will leave it here for now and do the other bits I wanted to record in a separate podcast, just to give everything its like proper space. So you don't actually get the story now. I'm so sorry. But I hope that you're just as excited as I am, because this is, for me, this is a really exciting step, just to really focus on mothers and really supporting them, because I don't think they are supported enough. When I say they, we are not supported enough. I'm a mum too, obviously. If you are not a mother yet, then feel free to forward this podcast to anyone, to any other mum. Also stay here, because none of this is solely for mums. It can apply to you too. It's just I just speak from a lens, through a mum lens. Essentially, that's what it is now. I was just speaking through a mum lens and just really, like, touching your heart with mine, and not really just giving you resources and practices that really help you just to connect back to yourself. So, as I say, please share with any other mums. Thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.